Hello, this is Jean Stafford, the Executive Coach for Women. And Thanksgiving is this week, so I find that I've been talking to my clients a lot about gratitude. Most of the women I work with are really looking forward to the holidays, a little time to relax. They look forward to the food. Some of them actually like to cook. That's not me. Some of them like to cook. They like time with friends and, of course, family, right? Well, oftentimes they'll say, family, I love my family, but my family can be really stressful to me. That's absolutely right. No matter how much we love those people, they can really press our emotional buttons. And why not? Because they are the people who have installed those emotional buttons, right? So they will go on and ask, what can I do to really prepare myself to enjoy this holiday and not let that stress get me and not allow it to show that my family is really getting on my nerves, right? Well, it's a wonderful question because you really can set yourself up for being more centered and more serene with what I call an attitude of gratitude. Attitude is a choice. We really can decide what we're going to how we're going to look at something, what our attitude towards something is going to be. Whether we choose to exercise that choice or not is another issue. But here is an exercise I want to give you today that will allow you to make a choice for managing your attitude. Happiness takes discipline, and happiness is a choice. Happiness actually comes from gratitude, which is why I'm talking to my clients about gratitude, right? Happiness comes from gratitude. It's not that gratitude comes from happiness, right? It's the other way around. So if we can deliberately give ourselves an opportunity to think about the things that we're grateful for, then that will feed into a happy attitude. Happy people are easy to be around. Happy people tend to be those that we gravitate towards. If you're sitting next to a happy person over the dinner table, it's highly unlikely that you're going to experience something negative from her. So you can make yourself that happy person at the table with this interesting exercise that I want to share with you. It comes from what has been in the past the most popular course offered at Harvard. It's a positive psychology course. And it is a course that teaches you how to be happier. The fact that it was the most popular course tells you people do want to be happier, and they do want to know how they can have a hand in making that happen. So here's that exercise. The first exercise offered there is making a gratitude list. Now, you may have heard of this before, but it's a very, very simple exercise. It's one that I practice myself. Making a list simply of 5 things that you're grateful for. Now, it's very important that you follow some of the specific guidelines. First of all, this has to be a manual writing exercise. We're not asking you to type it into your computer. We're not asking you to speak it into an app. We're asking you to literally write it down manually with pen or pencil on paper. We know from neuroscience that you get a very different level of neuroactivity when you write something down than you do when you type it or when you speak it. So it's important that you write this down on a piece of paper. I like to keep a little journal because I do want to look back and see what things have been on my list in the past. So writing just 5 things down. It's also important that you make this an exercise that you do as your very last activity at night before you turn the light out and go to sleep. Why is that important? Because it makes it gives your brain the opportunity to focus on something quite positive just before you go to sleep, so your subconscious can work on that list. So the 5 things that you're grateful for, something simple. It can be anything. It can be your pet. It can be a good night's sleep. It can be pizza. It can be anything that's very simple. I know from my own experience doing this exercise that typically I can jot down 1, 2, 3, even 4 items quite quickly, but then I have to give a little extra thought to coming up with item number 5. And actually that can be a good thing, because if I'm thinking about a 5th thing that I'm really grateful about, then I can't be thinking about anything negative. I can only focus my attention on one thing at a time. Okay, so you make a list of 5 things one day, then what? The next night, you do exactly the same thing. Make another list of 5. Now that second list can mirror the first list identically if you want to. It doesn't have to. There can be some overlap. There are no rules in terms of duplications. The most important thing is that you make the time to make the list and focus your attention on 5 things that you're grateful for. Remember that happiness comes from gratitude. Happiness comes from gratitude. You do have an opportunity to manage your thinking this holiday season. Make yourself that happy person at the table, and you'll make this a much happier holiday for the other people there also. After you've finished this exercise, leave me a comment. I'd really appreciate knowing how this exercise goes for you. From my personal experience, you will be able to tell a difference. So let me know what that is for you, and enjoy the holiday.